What's the difference between an indigenous nation and a tribe? These terms are often misunderstood, but they carry deep historical, political, and cultural meanings. Let's break it down. Indigenous nations and tribes are the heart of native identity, each with unique traditions, governance, and sovereignty. An indigenous nation is a sovereign political entity with its own government, laws, and cultural identity. A tribe, on the other hand, is a social and kinship-based group within a nation, often consisting of multiple clans and families. Many indigenous nations have been recognized through treaties or federal policies affirming their sovereign status. Nations have structured governments, legal systems, and leadership councils that make decisions for their people. Sovereignty means indigenous nations engage in government-to-government relationships, often through treaties that shape their rights and autonomy. Membership in an indigenous nation is often determined by criteria like blood quantum or descent, while tribal identity is rooted in cultural heritage. A single nation can have multiple tribes, each with distinct languages, traditions, and customs. Nations often have recognized land bases, while tribes may exist within a nation without holding specific territorial claims. While the U.S. government recognizes many indigenous nations, not all tribes receive the same legal status or protections, even with political differences. Indigenous nations and tribes share deep bonds through culture, history, and community. Modern indigenous leaders continue to fight for recognition, land rights, and the preservation of their sovereignty. Education is key. Understanding the difference between nations and tribes helps preserve native identity and heritage. From past struggles to modern victories, indigenous nations and tribes continue to shape history. The legacy of indigenous governance is passed from generation to generation, ensuring survival and strength. Indigenous nations and tribes are not relics of the past. They are thriving communities shaping the future. Want to understand more about indigenous sovereignty and identity? Explore and support native communities. Recognizing indigenous nations and tribes is key to respecting their history, rights, and contributions to society. These stories, traditions, and governance structures continue to shape indigenous resilience and pride. Subscribe for more insights into indigenous history, culture, and governance.